Officer-involved shooting of Benny Edwards caught on camera and then shared on social media. A new bill at the Capitol could make videos like that or photos illegal if the video contains personal information like the officer's name.
Hey guys, I do have a Friday morning editorial. It's out of Oklahoma, but could this become a trend across all of the states federally? And it's reference posting things online about police officers or law enforcement officers. Now, I'm going to go through this. I'm also going to read the legislature's bill to you. I'm going to put links in the description box below, a link to this story and a link to the Oklahoma legislator, so you can go and read the bill for yourself. The thing is, you know, there may be people out there that go, well, you know what, hold on, Leo, you're kind of miswording it here. But we know that any wording in a law or a statute or a code can be manipulated by law enforcement, and they do it all the time. You know, 148A here in California. Hey, you're obstructing my investigation, and you're like 30 feet away, and it's a car search. Like, what are my arms that long? Like, I don't understand. How am I obstructing your investigation from way over there? But they use that. Well, because I have to keep my eyes on you now, and I can't do what I'm doing here because I have to watch you. I have a camera. The only thing cameras have killed are careers. So my point is, here's this bill that now is kind of vague in wording and can be misinterpreted. Let's look at it. Thank you to KFOR.com for the story. A bill making it illegal to post personal and threatening information about a police officer online is one step closer to Governor Kevin Stitt's desk. Senate Bill 6 and House Bill 2273 both state someone could be arrested if they post to an online site the information of a law enforcement officer with the intent to threaten, intimidate, harass, or stalk. Now, while I personally wouldn't threaten or harass or stalk or intimidate a law enforcement officer, let's look at something here. Now, some people said, well, what about when you yell at cops? If they engage me first, they're going to get what's called re-engaged, or a response. If they don't want me responding to them, then they should shut up and do their job. You see, that's how that works. But looking at that here, what is harass? So what if a police officer does engage you in an unlawful manner? Let's say he steps over his authority and you respond by, shut up and get back to work, idiot. Now, are you intimidating him? Are you harassing him? He engaged you, but remember that he has a badge. He can do whatever he wants. That's kind of where this bill is headed, I believe. Let's go on. According to the bills, this includes name, address, phone number, social security number, or a photograph or any other realistic likeness. Senator Kevin Matthews says,
if it's not clear in the bill, we should not pass it.
Senator Kevin Matthews backtracking, initially voting yes to Senate Bill 6 in committee, but no on the Senate floor Monday afternoon.
I'm very disappointed that the presenter was not clear when I asked that question specifically. Did it include videos? He said no. George Floyd, the only reason we know what happened to him is because it was videotaped.
Mark Nelson, the president of Oklahoma's Fraternal Order of Police, tells K4,
when you talk about people's livelihoods and their families, that's off limits.
Mark Nelson, president of OKC's Fraternal Order of Police, in full support.
I think really who needs to be held accountable is the people who find this type of behavior appropriate.
But it's appropriate for cops to dox us cop watchers. It's okay for them to yell out our name and where we work. That's okay. Because we're out there recording them. We put ourselves in that position. But what about cops who put themselves in the position of doing things wrong and nobody knows who they are? Well, we can't be doxing police officers. So these fraternal order of police presidents always spin it so the officer is the victim. And yes, I'll give it to them that sometimes officers can be treated wrongfully. I've seen cop watch videos where cops try to be cordial and the cop watcher just, calls them a coward or whatever. And I've seen that. And I thought, dude, he's trying to talk to you. Why don't you talk back? So I've seen that. But this bill is it's almost like they're saying, well, now the officers can treat you wrong and you can't do anything back because then you're harassing them or intimidating them. They're giving cops rights that they don't deserve, sort of. Basically throwing the baby out with the bathwater here. Let's get back to it. Monday afternoon, State Bill 6 passed on the Senate floor, advancing to the House. The companion bill, HB 2273, is waiting to be heard on the House floor. State Representative Jason Lowe, Democrat, voted yes to HB 2273 in committee. Representative Lowe released this statement to K4 on Monday. As an African American male and a criminal defense attorney, I strongly support protecting our First Amendment right to record police officers' misconduct.
Democratic State Representative Jason Lowe tells News 4 he will only vote yes if an amendment is added, which would protect all citizens from the practice of doxing.
Director of Policy and Advocacy at ACLU Oklahoma, Nicole McAfee, said,
people could be at the harm of being arrested and jailed for any number of days by the same force that they are trying to hold accountable.
However, the ACLU of Oklahoma firmly against both bills.
I would hope that members of the legislature care about free speech and that they don't want to harm people's rights to engage in accountability.
So if you go to oklegislator.gov, it's going to take you to the Oklahoma State Legislature. Look up bill information for HB 2273, which is House Bill 2273. Or you can Google it. I Googled OK Legislator HB 2273, and it will take you directly to House Bill 2273 in the Oklahoma State Legislature. So basically you go there, I clicked on bill summaries and introduced to get the introduction of the bill summary, which is the first session of the 58th Legislature. Its author is Representative Josh West, and of course we saw that Senator Rosino also. Now HB 2273 provides that it is unlawful to willfully publish on a public online site or forum, attempt to publish or conspire to publish on a public online site or forum personally identifiable information of a law enforcement officer with the intent to threaten, intimidate, harass, or stalk, and as a result causes, attempts to cause, or would be reasonably expected to cause substantial emotional distress or financial loss to the law enforcement officer or to the family, household, member, or intimate partner of the law enforcement officer. Punishment is a misdemeanor, prepared by Brad Walgamot. Taking a pause here, what is, and I'm going to just take the easy words that they can manipulate. What is intimidate? What is harass? What is stalk? Is that like going from call to call? We're allowed to do that, right? California, it's 148G. Now, if they mean off-duty, yeah, I wouldn't, cops that are off-duty are off-duty to me. I'm looking for the ones who are on duty, having interactions with people in their uniform. That's, those are the ones that kill people. Well, they do off-duty too, but basically when I cop watch, I stick to on-duty cops. But what's intimidate? What's harass? What is stalk? Could that be on duty, do they mean? They can manipulate these words. What is emotional distress? The cop could say, I'm having emotional distress. This guy's following me from call to call. He's harassing me. Is that what they're going to start doing with this bill? These are questions, because you guys know how cops think. They twist and manipulate every law. You can't use profanity in public. Who said that? Well, it's a municipal code. No, municipal code says amplified voice or amplified noise. If it disturbs the peace, doesn't say anything about profanity. specifically I should say. Let's move on here. Fiscal analysis. HB 2273 is introduced, creates new law that makes the publishing to a public online site or forum of the personally identifiable information of a law enforcement officer with the intent to threaten, intimidate, or harass unlawful. The measure creates a misdemeanor for the first violation of the provisions of the measure and a felony for second or subsequent violation of the provisions of the measure. Prepared by Clayton Mayfield. All right, so I go back to the Oklahoma Legislature page, and we were on bill summaries. You're going to see versions. I'm going to click versions, and then I'm going to click the floor, house. It says floor, and then it says house. So it's basically the House floor version of the bill. And we're going to look at it. It's a little bit more detailed than what we just read. What we just read was a summary. Now we're going to read a version of the House bill to see exactly what it says. As introduced, an act relating to law enforcement officers making certain acts unlawful, providing penalties, defining terms, providing for codification, and providing an effective date. And I'm just going to summarize some of it here. But it's a new section of law to be codified in the Oklahoma statutes as Section 1176 of Title 21, unless there is created a duplication in numbering. But it reads as follows: it shall be unlawful for a person who by telecommunication or electronic communication, as defined in Section 1172 of Title 21 of the Oklahoma statutes, to willfully publish on a public online site or forum, attempt to publish or conspire to publish on a public online site or forum, personally identifiable information of a law enforcement officer with the intent to threaten, intimidate, harass, or stalk, and as a result causes, attempts to cause, or would be reasonably expected to cause substantial emotional distress or financial loss to the law enforcement officer or to the family, household member, or intimate partner of the law enforcement officer. Now, except as provided in subsection C of this section, any person convicted of violating the provisions of subsection A of this section shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and then of course subsections subsequent violations are a felony. Now we go on to Section D, which says family or household member means parents, grandparents, step-parents, adoptive parents, foster parents, children, grandchildren, stepchildren, adopted children, foster children, persons otherwise related by blood, marriage, living in the same household. Number 2 states law enforcement officer means any officer, agent, or employee of the state, a unit of local government, or federally recognized American Indian tribe, authorized by law or by a government agency to engage in or supervise the prevention, detection, or investigation of any violation of criminal law. And personally identifiable information includes, but is not limited to, listen to this, name, birth date, address, telephone number, driver's license number, social security number, place of employment, mother's maiden name, or a photograph or any other realistic likeness of the person. This act shall become effective November 1st, 2021. Did you guys hear that? Section D is really what I wanted to bring you to, and particularly number 2 that says, or number 3, let's go to number 3, which says personally identifiable information, name. You can't even say the cop's name in Oklahoma. If this bill passes, you can't even say the cop's name on YouTube and put it on YouTube. Well, he said my name and he's harassing me and I have emotional distress. You can't say his place of employment. He works at such and such police department. Oh, you look at him, he's telling everybody where I work. Look at this one, a photograph or any other realistic likeness of the person. Now they included not just family members, law enforcement officer. Oklahoma is shutting down free speech and freedom of the press in this bill. You say, well, it's for cop watchers and it's not really for the press. Really? Do you really think they're not going to try to push this onto the press? the news agencies, the news outlets, local newspaper, stringers. Oklahoma is attacking your First Amendment here. And I wanted to bring it to all of your attentions because some of you may go, that's Oklahoma, dude. I'm in New York. Yeah, wait till New York starts doing this. I'm in Idaho. Who cares? Nobody cares about Idaho. Wait till Idaho starts doing this. Wait till California starts doing this. I think 2020 has got a lot of officers running scared. And they're trying to shut us down. Get your cameras out, guys. Start recording the police. Because now is the time of accountability. Community Leo Watch, informing you of what's going on in your communities with LEOs, that's law enforcement officers, from coast to coast.
We're interested in building the trust. We don't see how this in any way, shape, or forms diminishes that.
At the state capitol, Peyton Yeager, Oklahoma's News 4.
As for the punishment stated in the bill, it is a misdemeanor for the first offense and a felony for the second. We did reach out to the authors, Representative Josh West and Senator Paul Rosino, but we have not heard back.